Fancy managers, hello and welcome back to another edition of the FPL Addicts podcast. And this is the Game Week 32 preview show sponsored by Bonus Bank and powered by Esports Live. If you are new around here, make sure you give the podcast a bit of love with a subscription, a like, a rating, get involved in the comments. Listen, we're excited to get going. We have got a returning panelist back in the studio tonight. This is, it's been a long time. Mikey, the FPL Rev, you join me. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I've got to ask everyone for their forgiveness for a change for being so absent. I'm used to people asking me for forgiveness, but it honestly, mate, it feels so good to be back. Glad that we're all available at the same time to talk some FPL goodness.
Yeah, well, all available. We had a couple of confirmations, and it is just me and you, so that is all the panelists for today.
Yeah. I'm sure we might get some extra voices into the mix a little bit later.
I'm sure we'll get some contributions. But listen, thank you for joining me in the studio tonight. It is a Wednesday evening here in Melbourne, Australia, and obviously Wednesday afternoon for you in the UK. Listen, we'll get into it. Chazza, I believe, is going to join us when he's when he gets off the train. With hopefully deliver a captain's corner will be very nice. We have missed Chazza on the pod, and Reedy. It's nice to get a different voice in the studio instead of Reedy chatting absolute nonsense.
It's all Scouse anyway, you know.
Oh yeah, that's what it seems to be all about sometimes. Right. Anyway, let's get into the usual stuff. We'll get into the review of Game Week 31. Look how we did. Review some results, assets, and then we'll obviously get on to Game Week 32 as well as reviewing our leagues, and we'll chat about our clubs as well. But listen, obviously we've already got a couple of watchers in there already. Miriam, thanks for joining us.
Oh yes, Miriam. Hello, mate.
Great to finally have Mikey back. She's missed your face, and Sparta John, who's joined us today John. As well.
Good
so I hope you're well, mate. Thanks for jumping back in on the pod. Right, so let's have a look at last week. Game Week 31. We obviously started with the first kickoff. Me and Reedy were discussing this fixture, and I think the form obviously was with Villa. Newcastle showing a bit of a bounce back in recent weeks as well. After a bit of a lull, come back a bit stronger. But the form of Villa at home and under Emery has been incredible. I didn't think it was going to be the 3-0 that it was, but yeah, absolutely delivered. What a game it was to start with, Mikey.
It was a really good game, and I was traveling back from Plymouth that day, listening to it on the radio, and it just, like, even though I wasn't seeing it, it's almost like I could feel how slow Newcastle's defenders were and how fast Ollie Watkins was. Like, everyone always goes on about Newcastle, saying, they've got such a big defense, really strong at set pieces, really physical presence, but Ollie Watkins, just the man in form at the moment, just making them arguably look slower than they are, but definitely exposing a weakness in what in recent weeks has been a really vulnerable Newcastle defence. 2 clean sheets in their last 10 games.
Wow.
Shows us that we're certainly not getting the form from Newcastle, at least defensively, that we're certainly used to as expectant FPL managers.
Yeah, unbelievable. And as you mentioned, Ollie Watkins, 6 in the last 6 he's scored, as well as contributing 2 assists in that period as well.
Absolutely on fire. But FPL's top scorer since the restart, like doing Erling Haaland numbers.
He is, and valued at 7.6 mil only. And
what a bargain!
Still only 22% owned, so he's not had a major shift in his ownership considering his form.
I'm in some other mini leagues, and obviously in a church mini league as well, mate. And the amount of people that don't own him, and so every time he scores, I'm like, just absolutely delicious, knowing that some of me mini league rivals just don't own him and still don't own him and continue to not own him when they are Villa are the form team at the moment. And also another surprising player from that fixture was, Emery's own man, which was Moreno.
Moreno, left back.
Yeah. Just great player.
Yeah, he looks great going forward, doesn't he? And
just like a clean sheet potentials there, attacking returns potentials there. Just definitely want to watch, especially if people are free hitting on the game week 32 this week. I'd have Moreno and Watkins straight in there.
Yeah, for sure. I think there was a couple of mentions that me and Reedy talked about last week. We mentioned obviously Jacob Ramsey, really strong in the midfield, can score goals as well, defensively good, box to box. He's got everything, Ramsey, and I think he definitely deserves a mention. Been in good form as well.
He was one of those players who was on our radar in game week 1. Earlier this season, and we were all thinking, who's going to be that guy? And some people went for Pedro Neto, get that little blast from the past. Some people went for Ramsey, but they just weren't showing the form that we knew that they were capable of. And I think, I think Villa's fixtures going forward are not that favourable. But sometimes you just got to go with form over fixtures. They're absolutely unstoppable right now. And Newcastle are not a bad side. And to just slap them 3-0 is just credit to Mr. Good Evening and the work that they're all putting in,
Yeah, and you mentioned about the upcoming fixtures: Brentford away, Fulham at home, United away, obviously difficult, Wolves away, difficult fixture. That'd be a great game.
From a defensive point of view, yeah.
Yeah, and Tottenham at home. Probably an easy one these days.
Yeah.
Liverpool away and Brighton. Yeah, they've got a bit of a tough run.
Yeah, they're just awkward fixtures. Like they're not like a set of fixtures that you go, I'll target those fixtures. But just because it's Aston Villa, thinking, you know what? Why not? Why not get a couple of them in?
Yeah, totally agree, mate. Moving on to the next fixture in there. What we've got Chelsea. I think we spoke about the frustrations again last week with Chelsea not picking any of their players, not really going near any of them. But Brighton assets we were definitely looking at, and a couple of the midfielders, and a couple that you love. Obviously, Gross was an asset you've done well with in I think this season and a bit of last season, wasn't he?
I don't think he was mine at all.
Was he not yours?
No, I've been a Mac 10 guy.
Oh, you're Mac 10, yeah. Obviously, both you and Reedy have been jumping on Mac 10.
But well, obviously Reedy, because he's just lucky, isn't he?
He just copies everything you do. True story.
Yeah. No comment.
no comment. But Welbeck and Cisco. And
what a goal that was, by the way. Did you see that?
Mate. Oh, rocket,
filthy strike.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the net, that'd still be going up.
Yeah, but definitely want to talk about this next fixture. Everton, Fulham. I don't think anyone was expecting miracles. Listen, Reedy actually backed the draw last week in this game because obviously we know Mitro.
What Everton has he been watching though?
I know, but I think without Mitro, we were thinking, they're not going to be looking as good with the goals. But 3-1. McNeil scored a nice goal. You scored first, or was it Reed who scored first?
I think we went 1-0 down.
I think right, okay.
And then it was 1-1.
Yeah. McNeil did a nice little left foot finish, and then Wilson came back and scored a screamer. And Dan James on that. Dan James with the goal and the assist. I think he got injured coming out of that game as well.
Yeah.
But William getting on the assist back in the team, and they're doing things without Mitro.
And I think also what really surprised me about Everton's lineup was that we've been doing well. I say well, we've looked a lot more solid with Ben Godfrey playing as a left back, and also Seamus Coleman a right back. But against Fulham, we had Michael Legend and Patterson, and they both looked just not physical enough. To deal with the pace of Fulham, who were playing some, to be fair to them, really good attacking football, which is something as an Everton fan I do remember from Marco and Silva, and it's just pain, mate. I think the only shining light is McNeil, who just doesn't give up on anything, just runs his head off and gets a goal every now and then. But things are looking really bleak for Everton. I think if you're looking at them from an FPL perspective, as a fan who would love to have any of them in their team, Yeah, you'd think that under Sean, under Dyche, you might be able to get like Pickford might even be an option, or but we're just not. We just look absolutely awful. In other news, yesterday we played a behind closed doors game against Chester. Chester
Lost.
FC. They
Please tell me you lost.
are like fourth tier in the English
Yeah.
football.
Yeah.
And you might think, oh, did we play the kids? No, we played some names in that side.
Yeah.
We lost 1-0. We lost 1-0.
Oh
We
my
are
God.
utter terrible.
All right. Well, listen,
I think
that's
we're getting
pretty clear.
relegated.
Yeah. Listen, on the way to get relegated, one of the biggest clubs in the Premier League over recent years. Well, a lot of history getting relegated. It's the time, is it? Have they ever been relegated, Everton?
No, well, not from the Premier League. No.
Yeah. I think only one of a few teams not to have been relegated, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
There is a time for everything.
There is a time, but enough about them. Let's get on to Big Woy. Southampton, Crystal Palace. Big Woy, 3 back-to-back wins. We mentioned some of the players in their team who look likely to score, and likes of Eze definitely came up in conversation. Elise as well.
Eze, what a player, mate!
Eze got 2. Showed a bit of his potential finally.
Yeah.
In the last, I've picked him a couple of times in the last 2 seasons. He's not done the business, but finally looking like a bit of a player.
Well, for me, Eze would be one of the first names on the team sheet if I was free hitting this week. I just think he's a man who's in great form, and also against an Everton side who look absolutely awful. I think that said, I'd be reluctant to pick any Crystal Palace defenders just because of the nature of the game. So for Everton, we're going to be going into that game thinking we have to win. So therefore, we have to score. Everton have to score in that game. And so I'd be reluctant to pick someone like Anderson or someone like that, just because I think Everton will have to go for it. And also, when Everton were fighting against relegation last season, we went 2-0 down, and in the second half, we scored 3 goals in that second half in what was probably one of the, well, at least for me, one of the greatest comebacks ever. With that diving header from Calvert-Lewin, and Calvert-Lewin looks like he's back as well. So
he's going to get himself fit, ready for a big move.
I know. Someone else can have him being injured every week. But
Sam, who's joined us, he just confirming, yes, Chester are in the 6th tier and in the National League North. Wow.
Yeah, awful.
That is low.
Shout out Sam, by the way. What a legend. Actually went for a drink with him the other week.
Oh, there we go, on the beers.
Was pretty good, yeah.
Bit of holy water. Alan Finnegan's jumped in the comments as well. Alan, royalty, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Matt just confirming that Maggie is still 300 points behind him. Wow.
Yeah, I gave him a bet this week that I gave him a bet this year that I'd give him a 300-point head start because I was just that confident, and nothing's worked out this season. And so, he is only 40 points, technically 40 points, but he's about because of our bet, 340 points ahead of me.
Yeah, and that's why now. And that's why a man of the cloth should not be betting. Anyway, on to
he's a minister as well, he's a Baptist minister.
Let's get on to some of the quick one. Brentford, a bit of a shock result, maybe a draw could have been coming out of that one, but Wolves got the win. I backed them last week as well. But some of the assets which did.
Yeah, I've been really lucky to have sold Tony at what appears to be the exact right time. Yeah. Obviously, I sold him, and then he missed a pen that week, which was really lucky. And then against Wolves again to blank there as well. I think I've dodged the bullet.
Yeah, he dodged it
for sure.
Good time in Rev. So nice move here from that one. Spurs 3-2 down against Bournemouth. Unbelievable. I think this was a guaranteed. I was hyping up Kane as always last week, and he did nothing in this one on paper.
Yeah, well, I was fuming because again I was on the way back up to Liverpool from Plymouth. I was listening to it on the radio. And when I heard that Perisic got the assist, I was fuming because I know
what you thinking of me?
Because you got pissed, right? And then obviously bought in Perisic because no one with a sound mind goes and does that. And And then I was just like, of course he has. Of course he's gone and got an assist.
Of course he got the assist.
And I just couldn't believe it, mate.
They were 2-0 up, and I thought, Perisic assist, clean sheet.
Mate, never mind my mate Jesus. You walk on water, you lad. You get away with everything.
I know, yeah, to be fair, taking the -8 and then Perisic delivering something was quite impressive.
Like I let out like a proper get in when Bournemouth scored just because I knew you'd lost.
I think you were straight on the WhatsApp group as well, giving it celebrations.
Giving you the abuse. Like.
Let's talk about obviously City piling the pressure now on Arsenal. But we'll talk about Arsenal in a second. But City, Haaland with the 2 coming back, after Champions League. Playing this game, looking great as always, and scoring with assists from De Bruyne and Grealish. Let's talk about them 3 assets.
Yeah, Grealish, a guy I got in a couple of weeks ago. Been really fortunate to not be on the receiving end of Pep Roulette. I think a lot of us are like, right now, have got our eyes twitching, like especially like those of us who were on the receiving end of Phil Foden suddenly being dropped earlier last season. Like that's all still kind of fresh in everyone's minds, where he was just off every game, 90 minutes, constantly getting attack and returns, and then suddenly out of nowhere dropped.
5 games out, was it? 5 games dropped, something like that.
And so, happy to have Jack Grealish, but I think all good things must come to an end, and at some point, especially with the Champions League, I think we're going to see some rotation soon. But whilst Erling Haaland is going for that all-time Premier League record, we can at least have him. I think John Stones, Mr. the Louvre himself.
Mentioned him last week as well as a pick.
Great pick. Yeah. Playing as a defensive midfielder, which as an Everton fan, like I always used to watch him thinking the way he just carries the ball in midfield, he'd always he'd be great as a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, a bit like Declan Reid, Declan Reid.
Declan Rice.
He's a teacher at the school.
Oh man, no, he's looking really good, looking like the player everyone thought he could be. And if he can stay injury free, he's definitely going to be someone I'm going to be looking to bring in, game week 34 onwards. Because he looks like a bit of a constant. And De Bruyne in amongst the attack and returns as well. Like it kind of dried up for him a bit, and so he's on our radar. I do wonder though, if people don't have Man City assets at the moment, just let us know in the comments what you're doing, because some people are saying, well, they're in great form. We got to bring them in for game week 33. Obviously, they blank this week, but in game week 33, they do play against Arsenal. But then after that, they've got the double against Fulham and West Ham. So let us know in the comments what you're doing if you don't have those Man City assets. Are you holding out for another week? Are you risking a Haaland haul? Or are you going to just get them in against Arsenal anyway and just hope and pray that Arsenal don't suddenly turn up?
Bit of FOMO if you don't have him in. Absolutely.
FOMO.
Moving on to Arsenal, nice little segue to discuss 2-0 up again in the Premier League and losing bottle jobs. Too comfortable. Arteta said in the interview afterwards they were too comfortable. And obviously West Ham got back in, and Ramsdale saved him at the end as well.
They did. He did, and I think it's kind of hard to call them a bottle job because no one expected them to be here.
Yeah.
And so I've got
overachieving big time. Overachieving,
got to give them the credit that they are due. But in these last 2 games to throw away like they did against Liverpool, to throw away like they have against West Ham, it's obviously a nightmare for someone like me who's been a Gabriel owner, been sitting pretty at 2-0 up, and also as a Saka owner in FPL as well. He's been literally not returned in his last 5 games now, and he also went and missed a penalty, which is absolutely infuriating. So give him that red card, mate. Speaking of giving people red cards, mate.
Speaking of bottle jobs.
Speaking of bottle jobs, he's not even said a word yet, and he's getting absolutely stick.
Here comes Reedy. FPL Reedy.
Oh.
What is happening?
Well, the first thing I was going to comment on was Mikey's chin. What's going on there, mate? Hey,
I know, yeah.
what's going on? 16 once again.
Fresh face.
I'm looking young and beautiful.
What have I missed then, boys?
Well,
Not
20
much,
minutes.
Well,
just reviewing the game week that's gone behind. But I think you're just in time, actually.
Just in
to
time.
Talk us through
Talk about Man United.
Leeds.
Clean sheet, 2-0, job done. Next.
Well, Fernandez blanking again. Furious.
Listen,
I've sold him.
Not good for Bruno owners. There's a couple of people shipping him out, of course, but Martial. I think we spoke about Martial last week a bit, Reedy, as well. Mentioned he could come and do the job, got the assist, looks really good in parts. But go on, let's talk about Liverpool. Come on, Reedy, as you're on.
It's not even
as expected.
It's not even worth hyping up. That's what I'm saying.
Are you back?
It should be.
Are we back?
No. You know what, though? I am glad after turning up against the big team the week after actually beating a rubbish team, because it doesn't happen very often this season. So I am pleased with that. I'm not pleased with not owning any Liverpool.
All their attacking players all scored.
Yeah, not owning any. So that's never a great thing. But we got free hit coming up, haven't we? Well, I have. I don't know about you boys. I think Mikey's probably got a free hit. He loves a chip, this lad. Loves a chip.
I'm not using it this week though. I think 34 is better. Yeah. But
he likes the doubles. But yeah, 6-1.
Yeah.
I was going to say 6-1. Salah, doing the usual against Leeds. Trent in that naughty new position that everyone's licking their lips over. Got a couple of assists. Canate, I mean, if it wasn't for Canate, we probably would have had a clean sheet in the cards and an absolute monster haul from Trent. But yeah, 6-1. We move, and then just wait for Newcastle and Spurs to draw 0-0, and then we'll just catch up an inch closer to fourth place, and they can bottle it. Speaking of bottling, Arsenal, me, and Newcastle and Spurs.
Yeah, it's looking really good for Liverpool right now, especially with some of your key attackers returning into the fray. Obviously, Luis Diaz getting some minutes, Diego Jota even getting on the score sheet. I think, if you were free hitting this week, Reezy, what Liverpool assets would you be loading up on?
Well, I am free hitting, so I suppose I can just, go off what I'm thinking of at the minute. And
just do your team now, Reedy.
No, because that can change before the Friday.
Let's tell listeners and viewers what you've got so far. Go on. Go ahead.
At the minute, in terms of Liverpool, the standout picks seem to be Trent, Salah, and Gakpo.
Gakpo, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Not Jota or Darwin?
Darwin, definitely not, especially with Diaz coming in.
Okay.
Jota, I think, helped his cause because he's been a bit naff since he come back from his injury. He has been a bit naff, hasn't he? And for him to get those 2 goals,
Liverpool have been naff.
Yeah, we've been naff, but I think with Jota, when he came back from his injury, we expected maybe something of the old Jota that was with Mane and was with Salah and was looked great, really, to be honest, for what we paid for him. And he hasn't, but he got those 2 goals, which has probably done him a favour in regards to getting him a start against Forest. So I don't think Darwin comes into the equation, unfortunately. And I think for me, Darwin doesn't come into the equation at any point for the rest of the season, just because I've always said he needs a season under his belt, and then next year is when he'll sort of hopefully kick off the ground running. But it doesn't help that we've now got Jota, Núñez, Gakpo, and Diaz that can all play on the left and central. Yeah. So it's a
I'd be super tempted to back the form of Jota, especially if you don't think he's droppable for the Forest game, and if you're only free hit him, you don't have to keep him.
Listen, I would not say to anybody, listen, don't go all out attack and just have Jota, Gakpo, and Salah. Ooh, it's very tempting.
That sounds naughty, doesn't it?
It does. It certainly does. But I don't know, I'll put this to you guys and to anyone there watching: that are we going to keep a clean sheet against Forest with the mistakes that we make? We conceded against Leeds because it was a mistake.
2-0 Forest incoming. It'd be the most Liverpool thing ever.
People are going to double up on Liverpool defence.
Núñez 2 own goals.
Like people are going to go for Trent and Robbo. I mean, I just can't do it.
I wouldn't be going Robbo. He looked quite deep.
The problem with Robbo is, as soon as he's not got an opportunity to go past the fullback and cross it in or get further into the box, he automatically turns back. Whereas with Trent, he's a little bit more diverse with his passing, so it gives him an option. So yeah, for me, Trent, and I say it's probably it is a toss up, as you're saying there, Mikey, between Gakpo and Jota, and also Jota is a differential as well. I'm not saying the Gakpo isn't, but Jota's ownership is going to be, people who aren't free hitting probably aren't going to bring Jota in, really, are they?
No, I don't think that's going to be on my radar for me.
So
I think
boys.
If you burn a transfer doing that, probably not. 0.9% ownership, Jota.
Yeah, and I think John in the comments agrees. FPL Sparta says Trent, Salah, and Jota for him. So it seems to be a
I'm quite surprised not
good move.
Trent, really.
Huh?
Quite surprised you're not doing Trent.
No, I am.
Oh, you are doing Trent. Oh, sorry, I thought you said
no, but he said he wouldn't be against the idea of just going straight to Liverpool attack, which does sound naughty, to be fair.
It does. It depends if you want the 5-man midfield or you want the 3 up front. Because really, what would be Jesus and Jota maybe you go for? Watkins? Can you not have Watkins with the form he's in?
You can't avoid Watkins right now. He's absolutely undroppable.
Yeah, it is tricky. But in other news, I've noticed that Rashford is back in training,
mate, as of an hour and a half
ago.
Got reported.
Yeah,
brilliant. Except took him out of my team.
Yeah.
I think everyone did. 1.6 million last week took him out, and 450k nearly took him out this week. So 2.1 million managers in the last 2 game weeks taking him out.
Yeah. So after reviewing last week's games, boys, what was the agenda before I was, introduced nicely?
It was just I think we were going to slag you off for about 20 minutes. Next
I'll go. Tell you what, mate, I'll just go, mate. You just carry on, because
what we'll do, mate, we'll probably just have a look at our teams. We'll have a look at the Members League first, but we'll go Members League first place. Matt McKay, 2,089 points. Are you boys in the 2K points yet? Nope. In our public league, Thomas Yates, 2,134 points. Unbelievable. Mira is on 2,102 points in the women's. She's top of that league. And in the head-to-head mini, Donald Breslin is still top. Absolutely flying. Bonus Bank, thank you to them for our sponsorship this season for the 2nd year. They have provided a free bonus tool to try and make some picks. And I was going to mention this just when we were talking about clean sheets and players to score, but the clean sheets in 3rd place, Crystal Palace are a 41% chance this week with a clean sheet against Everton. Looking good, Mikey's face, yeah. I think that was good. Yeah, decent.
I think it's.
You're saying keep stay away from Crystal Palace assets, didn't you? Defensive ones, didn't you?
Well, it's only because Everton have to score because we have to win. You know, and so I reckon we'll have to change our tactics up. I think we might see a more attacking version.
Some nice tactics would be a good change, wouldn't it, for Everton?
Any tactics would.
In 2nd place, Liverpool, 52% chance. So when we're talking Trent against Forest, 52% chance if you're looking at ownership of him. And in Arsenal versus Southampton, Arsenal top of this one for a clean sheet, probability of 54% chance. Players to score in the fixtures for game week 32, Diego Jota. He's got a 44% chance according to the probabilities. Jesus with a 49% chance against Southampton and a 50% chance for Mo Salah. So listen, I think some good assets to look at there. Some Mo Salah, Jesus and Jota, if you've got them in your team, really he's probably looking that way for his free hit, I imagine. And a lot of members out there. But if you want to check out the free fantasy tool, help decide some of maybe those final picks heading into the game week, jump into our link tree below in the caption. And you'll be able to visit that tool, and it's completely free. So cheers, Bonus Bank, for that one. But let's have a look at some of our teams. I don't know if Reedy or Rev, have you got your team up from game week 31, or is it you moved to this week? Yeah, nice one. So let's Rev. We'll go to your screen now. And he's actually got his preview team up. Have you got your points one? He has. There we go.
There you go.
Nice one, mate. 66 points for this game week. I'll probably just jump into our league and just mention where you are in our podcast league as well.
So don't do that.
Yeah, so Rev, you are Chaz is bottom on 6, and you'll be pleased to know you are 5th on after holding 66 points this game week, 1,925 points and 820k overall.
Yeah, I think it's not telling the whole story. Like I think our league is quite tight, and there's not that many points between all of us.
It's the shit league, isn't it, really, though?
Yeah, we are a league full of shit man and hitman, basically. But yeah, I think this week's been okay. Obviously, Jack Grealish and Ollie Watkins and Haaland basically just putting in the work. I think Martinelli, everyone's got him, so those points don't really count. Kepa with loads of save points actually was a welcome surprise, because Chelsea have been poor recently, and I watched all season. Yeah, but the biggest disappointment for me was Fernandes, who was looking amazing. He looked like the only thing that was missing from his game was an assist or a goal, and he could have had about 5 attack and returns. And the fact that he didn't, it just like was absolutely infuriating. And obviously with the blank this week, something's got to be done. So yeah.
And no, obviously, what chips have you got left, Mikey? Going ahead and into.
I've got my free hit chip left. Yeah.
Right, but you're not choosing to play that just at the moment.
No, I don't really fancy it. I think my team kind of has a lot of the key players for this game week at the moment without free hitting. Like, and I don't want to take hits to bring in someone like, I don't know, who am I seeing people like get in? I'm seeing people get in like Maddison or Andreas is another player that I'm seeing. AU, Edwards, like, Solanke.
Is this the group for blind people?
Yeah, well, Jared Bowen. Like, well, this is like what I'm seeing on Twitter.
I think you're going to say I see dead people or something like.
Yeah. People are struggling. I haven't got a clue what you're chatting on about. Well, people are struggling to pick 11 players because it's slim pickings. It reminds me going through the aisles of Aldi when at the height of the pandemic, hoping for a single sheet of toilet paper. Like, that's what free hit 32 feels a bit like. It's just slim pickings, and I've already got most of the good stuff from this week, so I'll just field 8 and just be like, cool, be a low scoring game week anyway. Hopefully.
Fair enough, Mikey. I think elsewhere in the podcast mini league, so above Mikey, 51 points, the man across the town, Christopher Reed with Reedy's Renegades. I'll bring your team already. Okay. There we go.
He's a renegade.
Pressing the button as well, will you? There we go.
You guys were doing the hokey cokey then.
Oh, mate. Give him an engine. Look at him.
Right, whoa! We want to go off that screen. Whoa, we don't want to be seeing no free hits.
Oh, I didn't realise. I didn't pick that up. I didn't pick up what else's team then.
I don't want to be giving you boys an indication now.
If you're on YouTube, just go rewind 10 seconds, get us a screenshot, send us it on Twitter.
Yeah,
there you go. Leaked information right there.
Like I say, it's not confirmed or it's not a final draft yet, but as for the team for this game week, oh God, what can I say? I just can't help but look to the bottom of the screen. What could have been?
Can you just, for the listeners who aren't watching, Reedy, can you just reel off who's on your bench and how many points they got?
Oh, I don't need to reel off. It's the whole. Is anyone from Villa that's good with basically Martinez or with Watkins and Mings?
A combined of 28 points on his bench. So all that his three Villa assets dropped in favour of Newcastle.
You've had some nightmares on your bench this season, mate. It's been a bit of a theme for you.
There's only the Saliba one, and
there's been a couple. I think I'm gonna go back through. I'm gonna get the receipts.
Look at him now. He's getting. He's Everton fans, eh? Look what they're like. No.
Look, FPL is all we have, mate.
But look at, on a positive note, even though I didn't get the average and stuff this week, and obviously it would have been much, much better with Watkins playing, and if it had trusted the guys that I brought in game week 29 for the bench boost, which was Martinez and Mings, and then I'd be buzzing and be laughing, but wasn't the case. So I brought in Grealish with me 1 free transfer, got me the 7 points. Did the job, I suppose. KDB again, both of those guys on the bonus as well, in the bonus points, and then Haaland captain, which was never a doubt, really. So that was it. The majority of points came from them three. And yeah, just move on. I mean, I made a great rank climb, and also in our mini league as well. I made a nice little bit of ground covered on Jack Gillibrand, but he's got above me back again after even taking a -8. So Jesus,
mate, I've
got some work to do.
Take as many hits as I want and still be above you, Reedy. How do you feel?
Yeah, it is a bit.
Honestly, you were so after laughing at me last week. After we both laughed at myself. After taking a -8, realizing that on deadline.
I mean, don't forget though, Jack.
Brutal.
You look at the points difference. I mean, it is only 6. Oh, yeah, he's took it away. Look.
Yeah, no, here we go, mate. Let's bring it back off. Stop pressing the buttons.
Let's have a look.
Here
so it's points between me and you, and then obviously with Mikey as well.
Oh,
so realistically speaking, this for me, you, Ollie, Mikey, it's going to change. It's going to change. I mean, I don't like the fact that Elliot's starting to scamper away a little bit.
Walking away with it, isn't he?
Yeah, it's because he doesn't, go and do the podcast each week now. He just has more time.
Yeah, he doesn't listen to us. That's why he's doing well.
That's it. Correct. Yeah, you're probably not far off, mate. Probably not far off. Colm just saying he's with Rev. He thinks the free hit is better in a double game week rather than a blank one. So yeah, with that as well, I've been all in agreement against Reedy. Hopefully Reedy's free hit this week goes to shit. Thanks for joining us. Who else is in? Ryan, good man. Hope you're well, mate. Good day to you. G'day, mate. Let us know how you went this game week, Ryan, and what moves you're doing this game week from Football Chat Box. Let's get on to the good stuff. I'm sitting above Reedy in third place. 58 points this week. Took a -8. So I've got 50 points in there. That's probably my team, is it? I'm not even on the right screen myself. Sorry, lads. Or am I? Yeah, I am on the right screen. Took a -8, which was pure by accident. So you see the 3 transfers in there, 58 points. So that gave me with 50 points total. De Gea with a clean sheet. Happy with that. Trips from Newcastle, not ideal. Ben White, I loved it when he got the assist. How good was that, by the way? Was it us 3 who've got the 3 Arsenal assets?
I'm on Gabriel. Reedy, you're on Zinchenko, aren't you?
Zinchenko didn't play.
He didn't even play. This is what I mean, Jack. About you walk on water. You legit walk on water. There's everything goes your way. And it's absolutely infuriating.
The Ben White points more than anything, though, for owners this season of there's so much jam involved in them. It's unbelievable. I remember he didn't start a game a few weeks back, or maybe a couple of weeks back, and then came on and got a goal or an assist or something. It was just
in this one here against Palace. Was it the 82nd? 82 minutes.
Minutes played. It'll be that 145. I think.
45. Got the goal.
Goal scored. That was it. Yeah, he got 7 points. That's what I mean.
Brilliant.
You just couldn't write it.
Listen, Ben White's been a great asset in FPL, to be fair.
Solid,
and then obviously brought Perisic and me and Mikey were chatting about him. Obviously, I brought him in last week in the -8 moves. He got the assist. Thought he was going to be on for a clean sheet as well, but obviously that soon turn later on. But still,
what was the logic there though with Perisic? The fixtures are absolutely awful, and they don't have any
against
doubles.
Bournemouth. Yeah, but I know Bournemouth are on form, and we did talk about that last week too. But that was a good fixture on paper, so there's no reason for attacking wise that it should have gone Tottenham's way. So you never know, do you? You don't know what's going to happen. And 32 he was playing, so I was thinking, well, still.
Yeah. Lad, so you got 10 points from your -8, right? From the players you brought in, so you're 2 points up from what you brought in. From 3 players. 3 players.
Saka, rubbish. Grealish, 7 points. Mitoma. Martinelli came in for Rashford, got them in at 5 points. But I did obviously burn a move with Is that coming on? 2 points, which is naff, which is my new favourite word. Kane not scoring, Haaland captaincy, got the point to carry the team. So yeah, not too bad. Not incredible, obviously, but not too bad. And yeah, I think that covers our 3 teams anyway. But I'll just mention the boys who are above myself and the boys. Ollie Walker-Peel, 66 points, good week from him. He's in second place in our mini league, and Elliot Craig is on 1,963 points and 56 points for this game week. So decent. So not a bad week from some of us. Ryan is football chat box in the comments. He's saying he got 72 points, so 68 after taking a -4 and a green arrow. So he's sitting 381. Nice, Ryan. Great stuff, mate. Better than what we're doing anyway, pal. So you'll have to get yourself on here at some point soon. If you have not following Football Chat Box on Twitter, make sure you get on there. And he's got a podcast as well. And read it. You went on the podcast a while back.
Yeah, I did. I went on with
Ollie
with Chazza. I think it was for game week 20, pre-game week 27, maybe. When we looked,
probably invited the wrong people there, didn't he? Because 2 of them are below me and Mikey.
Well, no, not really. It's what happens at the end of the season, Jack. not right now, mate. Come on. But no, it was pre the doubles. I think Brentford Brighton in the 27, and we were talking about wildcard in 26, basically. Yes. Oh, actually, so it was probably game week 26. That's what it would have been. I can't remember. Ryan maybe went for the wildcard in 26 as well. But it was a great little chat. Really enjoyed it. Top lad. Ryan is as well. So grateful that he had us on. It was good.
Yeah, wonderful. We met with Ryan when he was on the couch at FPL Social too. So yeah, top man, Ryan. All right, let's get into this game week preview. We've got a couple of discussion points to get on. We've already discussed some of the top transfers. Ollie Watkins in some of your teams already. Really likes to keep him on the bench, but 290,000 managers have brought him in this game week. As a 285,000 managers brought him in, and Mo Salah creeping back up there with 200k. So not huge moves this week. So I think a lot of people obviously are maybe free hitting. Do free hit moves count in this? Do we know? They don't, do they? So
no, wildcard or free hit don't count
probably
in.
Speaks a lot. Yeah, that probably speaks volumes in why the moves are so low, right? Tyrone Mings is up there as well. Another one on Reedy's bench. And then Trent coming in as well at 150k moves. So yeah, a couple of ones in there. I suppose any talking points from them, lads? No surprises, really?
Yeah. I think, especially because these players play, and as I said before, it's slim pickings. Yeah. Isn't it? And as much as I am an Everton fan, I try to not be biased, but Liverpool have been so hit and miss this season. I'm so reluctant to take a hit for someone like Trent, who could just get a 1-pointer quite easily. Mm-hmm. And he could get 20 points. You just don't know what's going to happen. It'd just be such a gamble to do that. But I see why people are bringing them in, though. It does look like a great fixture on paper, and Liverpool's form does seem to be turning. So, yeah, who knows?
Mikey's like that. Oh, it's temptation. Temptation.
Yeah. I've got 8 players this week, and I'm fine.
How are you in this position, though, Mikey, where
you've
taking
any hits?
So many players?
Like a planning, maybe, yeah? I'll tell you what, let's go onto our teams and see what we've actually got. And we'll start with you then, Rev. Let's preview, and then we'll talk about some of the discussion points as we go along, going through teams and bring up a few of them.
Yeah, so no goalkeeper, which for me this season doesn't make any difference.
Sweeper keeper, are you?
Doesn't make any difference to my points anyway, having a goalkeeper. It's been fine. Kilman against Leicester. It's great. Decent fixture. Trippier, the thing is though, if you look at this team and you think I've got 0.8 in the bank, I would have to take a -8 to get to someone like Trent.
Nothing wrong with -8s, mate.
Well, yeah, only if you're pissed and want to get Perisic in.
or you forget.
Yeah, exactly. So the move that I have done is Fernandes to Salah. And I've smacked the armband on Salah. It's just a dead easy move. And I think nice. He could potentially get a hattie this week. Could be great. Other than that, I just don't see any move that really interests me. Like, I think Newcastle, like, I could move Chilwell to a Newcastle defender, but then do I really want to? Like, against Spurs, I think Spurs could score 1 or 2. And even then, who do I get from Newcastle? Like, it just doesn't, it's just taking hits just doesn't
Yeah, but what are you
appeal
doing in game week 33? Are you wildcarding or are you
He's only
free hitting?
Free hit left, haven't you, Mikey?
Yeah, I'm free hitting in 34.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so this is the same team for 33, and then you're free hitting 34. So you're still trying to plan around with your team, aren't you? So if you're bringing someone in, you're and taking the hit, you've got to then plan with that player going forwards as well, right? And obviously,
exactly,
Grealish,
like,
if you want to move them out, yeah.
And if I'm bringing a player in, I want to make sure that they're playing in like the double in 37 as well. So like, but Brighton aren't playing this week, so like Chilwell to Dunk could have been an option, but they're just not playing. So I'm just like, I'm okay with it.
You're thinking of players that you actually want after your free hit also that have a double, for example.
Yeah. And
that you
I just
don't take out now because you think, well, I might need to then bring them back in 35, say, for example, or something.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I don't want to bring in someone like a Newcastle player because I don't like the fixture and I don't like their form at the moment.
Yeah.
So
I think for me, looking at your team, there's 2 players who I'd be taking out straight away, and that would be Shaw and Chilwell.
But who do you bring in?
How much have you got in the bank?
0.8.
0.8.
So the thing is,
5, 7.
So if we go to transfers, for example, we could go Chilwell and we could go Shaw, and we could sort by transfer.
Just go to Liverpool to see if you can maybe get Andy Robertson.
So
I know it's not an ideal pick.
You could go Trent, and then we've got 4.3 left.
Yeah.
And
is that
and
so
you could
bad?
possibly go for
Alex Moreno, lad. Oh, was he 4.5?
Yeah, Mings and Moreno have gone up. Have jumped up a little bit, I think.
So missed the price rise as well.
Yeah, and so all these players
what about Mark Gahey?
Like this is what I mean. Like I'm not going to play
Young,
them.
4.3.
Who?
Ashley Young.
Ashley Young. My God, mate. Have a word with yourself.
Mate, absolute ball. 14 points in the last 2 games.
Give your head a wobble.
Mate, Ashley Young's back.
Yeah. Let's
better right back than Trent this season.
Emerson, Gueye, Zuma. They just don't appeal. Like, do you know what I mean? Like to take a minus to bring in these players, and they're also players that I'm not going to be playing again. Like they'll just sit on my bench for the rest of the season. Like it just doesn't feel worth it to me.
You're in a tight spot because your money's so spread.
Well, yeah.
It makes it difficult in that respect. I mean, personally, I think you're going to say about you want to bring him back in and so on, but you could potentially take Grealish out. You could potentially do that, and you could you then afford Gakpo or not? Is he 7 million? Grealish, Gakpo's me.
It's the thing about Gakpo is that like his minutes.
He could turn into Gakpo.
Yeah, Gakpo, mate. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like I'm looking at like the Aston Villa, and so ultimately, yeah, it's just this team.
You're sticking to your guns.
It just looks.
I feel like it's going to be a hard sell for him to change his mind here, Reedy, if I'm honest.
Well, it's not that I'm not open to having my mind changed. It's that like I can't see a good move.
So you're going to bank the transfer and have 2 for 33?
No. I've used one transfer on
Salah's
Fernandez to Salah.
Yeah.
Oh, you've done. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So everything else is now taking hits, which I don't want to do for one game week. Like it doesn't feel
I
like
think
it's got any benefit.
Happen. I mean, with this team, anything could happen with the players that you've got, apart from, I'd say, Kilman, maybe. Like, well, we could get a surprise unless they might actually, score. They scored against City last week. But I think other than that, your actual players, like, who'd say that Newcastle aren't capable of keeping a clean sheet, especially that it's at St. James's Park? Obviously, they're better at home for doing that. Spurs are a little bit dodgy at times and don't look great. So, that could end up being, you get your 6 points with your Trippier and your Gabriel. There's your 12. You've got your two Arsenal boys and Salah in midfield. If Salah goes off, he's your captain. And then Watkins, who's in form, and Isak, who's been decent as well. So I think the players you've got are quite good. And I think, you put
exactly and so the other players that I'd be bringing in are just feel bang average. They don't feel like exciting FPL moves, at least like not with haul potential, which is why I'm leaning into a free hit in 34 where I can get 11 doublers, all of which have great fixtures. They're from good teams and they could all haul in every single one of those 22 fixtures. Whereas in this game week, like, okay, someone's playing a free hit against me, they get 11 players, cool, I get 8, but my 8 is still pretty good.
Yeah,
and the 3 players that free hitters this week have on me, I'm not even that worried about.
Yeah.
So
I think the only other one to probably consider then, really, to get an extra player on the pitch for the -4 is potentially Gakpo or Diaz. That's the only one probably worth doing then, really, because with Trent, you've got to take 2 players out on you and bring someone else in as well as Trent that you might potentially not want moving forward. Whereas with that one swap, you can easily undo that one.
And as you say, we could just get straight up Gakpo, and that'd be that. Forest turn you over 2-0. Because what Liverpool are we gonna get? What, like, against Forest? What Liverpool are we getting? We don't know, do we? Ultimately, like, I have been hurt so much this season by taking minuses to get Liverpool players in, and then the week after taking minuses to get them back out because they've just been utter poo. And so you've got to learn from your mistakes in FPL, and so I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. So enjoy your Trent and Gakpo hauls, everyone. This week, they're all absolutely going to bang because I'm not touching them.
Yeah, because you've jinxed it now.
Yeah.
Nice one, boys. I think a big thank you for everyone carrying on watching who's tuned in. Obviously, we've got Eben who's jumped in.
Oh, Eben, mate. He's been so on it on Alex
Chunk.
Moreno already.
Yeah, Mr. Chunky off the watch back, he was saying interesting conversation on the form of the usual must buys, and like you were just saying, Rev, he jumped on the Alex Moreno one. He must have watched the game, scouted him, and brought him in, and he's reaped the rewards from him. But someone else joining us as well, who's now arrived, Shazza Roberts. Look at this, was on that podcast. Legend. Shazza is in the building. Shazza, how you doing, mate? You good?
Look, I'm great. I'm not too sure if this is the FPL podcast of a Godfather show, just at the rate how Rev has shaved all of his facial hair. It's incredible.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah,
here?
Well, let's just get a close up of Jack just in response.
What's going on here?
That's brilliant.
Let's discuss Rev's face, and Jack's like, no, everyone look at me.
What's going on here?
He's so vain. He probably thinks this podcast is about him.
Me. I'm the king.
He is the Burger King.
I feel like Reed's just pressing every single button he can see here.
How are we doing, Shazza? Are we all right?
Yeah, we're all right, thank you. Look, it took 90 minutes to get back from Hawthorn this evening because there was a couple of train delays. So, I mean, at the moment, we've got a camera operating gig at a soccer club. So we've got our first game on Friday night. So we just got back from that.
Which team? Do you want to give them a shout out, Chaz?
Yeah, well, look, it's called Collingwood City, but it's actually called 1-0 FC because they used to be an indoor futsal side, but they're now converted into an outdoor football club, managing to get an XI out on the park. Now looking for a camera person for the coming season.
And you're the cameraman. Are you commentating as well?
Not for that.
In your own way, muted.
Yeah, I'll try and improvise.
Love it. Mate, just stick your head in front of the camera and just take over. That's what you that's what you want.
Well, actually, I need to
Give the
talk
people
about
what they want.
upcoming segment idea. Instead of roaming BT, it's called roaming Yanni. So the entire club, team is pretty much, most of them are Greek. And I didn't know Charlie for Greek is called Yanni. So it's called roaming Yanni segment. So pretty much in the change rooms before the game, just give everyone's thoughts on the huge game. And then I might just pitch invade after the game, back into the change rooms and see how they feel.
Fair. How was your FPL team going?
Blah, blah, blah. There's holes everywhere and there's blanks everywhere.
Oh, what's Harvey Barnes doing in your team, lad?
Have you looked at your team recently or not?
I made some changes on Saturday, but that's about it.
Saturday?
Yeah.
And what,
so I reckon free hit.
Free hit this week? Have you attempted your free hit yet?
Absolutely not.
And what are you thinking at the minute? High level.
Firstly, we need to get some players in that actually have a game this week. I haven't looked all that properly. I think the rest that have a game are in. Is it Liverpool that have got a good fixture? To be honest, I haven't checked on the fixtures properly yet. But that's the team I'm intending to free hit.
Who you wanting to keep based on the players that you can see in your team who have got a game?
I reckon Bakayo and then Kane, Ollie Watkins. Wow. He's unbelievable. I think defenders stayed despite all of that. Harvey Barnes. It reminds me of Tim Flowers from my October wildcard. Don't know why he's in there. Oh, wait. Are you talking about players to keep afterwards? Yeah, I think ones that don't have a game may stay.
Anything you want, mate.
Yeah. That's how it is. So that's my formation. I've not changed yet.
All right. Fair enough. Well, we'll look forward to seeing your attempted free hit. Maybe speak to Reedy about what he's doing. I'm sure he'll show us in just a moment.
And I'd like to apologise for the viewers for not staying up to speed, but we move.
We do, and that segues us nicely into Reedy's free hit team for this week.
Yeah, just like that time when Jack left 38 points on his bench in game 13. Sorry, wait there. I'm just looking at free hit. That was what I meant to talk about.
Was this Jack's free hit?
This is my team. Was it game week what, this?
This is for 32, by the way. So this is the free hit. Now, I had a little play around. I had Gakpo. I had Solanke in. So I was just looking at swapping those two around. But I think...
Are you on my team on your screen?
Yeah. No, I was on this one. That was on that. That was in game week 13. That I was looking at the bench.
Just doing a bit of research with you, mate.
Just doing a Mikey, in these receipts. But we move. Don't worry.
You've missed even Matoma's haul the other week. You left them on your bench, and then before that you had Martinelli and Zinchenko or something like that, and then before that you had so let's not go there, mate.
Listen,
you've got the receipts, lad.
Listen, we could do the same for Jack, but like I say, we'll be here all day. There's plenty of others he's done the same with. But
the thing is, we can't really do it for me though. We can't do it for me because I don't get points on my bench or in my actual team.
Don't get points. Yeah, it's like your goalkeepers usually.
I think it's fair to say, Jack, we've won that one. Mikey's just rubbish at FPL basically.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, totally. Good, mate. Can you show your free hit team, please?
After giving it the big
still
one.
Still some of the season to go, mate. I still believe.
Giving it the big one at the beginning of the season, Jack, telling us he was going to win it, and he was.
I'm still going to win. I'm still going to win our mini league.
Yeah,
still going to win.
Free hit for this week. This is what I've got at the moment. As I say, it's probably going to change. It's probably going to change. So let's have a look. Here we go.
Have we still got any?
Get off my team here. Come on, son.
Get off his team, lads.
There we go. Get off his team, lads.
Get off his team.
So
interesting.
This is what I've got at the minute. I'm not.
Have you got anything in the bank left?
I'll go on transfers. I've got 3.6, mate. 3.6. So,
cash.
Is there any teams that you would say where Newcastle Spurs maybe? I've got none of them.
Well, I was just about to say, if I was free hitting this week, one of the first names on the team sheet for me would be Heung-min Son. No one's got him, and he's scored in 2 of his last 2 games. Seems to be thriving under the new manager. And also Newcastle seems to be in a bit of a dip of defensive form at the moment. Look like a team to target. And
There's
if
just one
and if,
problem with that, Mikey. Just
Go
one
on.
slight problem.
Just downgrade Solanke.
Son is 11 point something.
Oh,
He's
11.
so high. Yeah, you can't get a
Ooh.
forward that's even if you got Greenwood in for 4 mil,
Downgrade Trips.
10.6.
Yeah. Well, I love Rev's tip.
Trips the Botman or something like that. Yeah.
Trips, yeah.
Yeah.
Downgrade him. You got your cash there.
With the Godfather comes a Godson, and that's where Showman's son comes into play.
What's this Godfather chat like?
You look like it.
I look like a Godfather.
Yeah, you do. Like, you're
Is it-
incredibly clean shaven.
Is it bad that I think that this is the week to not go without Watkins? I've left him on my bench. I mean, obviously you think I'd learn my lesson from that, but
You're going to drop him again.
I think this week Brentford away is a bit trickier for Villa. I don't know if he's gonna, be getting a haul this week. So
I just think it is EO scares me, man.
Well, you didn't think he was going to get a haul last week, and he did.
It's not that I didn't think. It's just that I went for Ivan Toney against Wolves rather than Ollie Watkins against Newcastle.
Yeah, what were you thinking?
Well, the Newcastle defence is better than Wolves' defence. That's what I was thinking, which is a fact, really. Yes.
Because if there's like a similar player in the Premier League to Ollie Watkins who like kind of cuts in from the left-hand side with pace, who's just like really exploited the Newcastle defence, my first thought is Heung-min Son, who kind of does similar things. I reckon he could exploit that Newcastle defence on the counter, on the break, because Newcastle like to play a high line as well. If again, another player who could exploit that would be Son, who likes to get fed in by Harry Kane, who comes deeper. So that's my.
He's trying to sell it big time to me, isn't he, boys?
Mate,
What's
look,
your
I
thoughts,
might be
Chazza?
against you. I want you to do well, though.
I don't
what
want
you-
you to do well.
Of course you don't, you sweaty little man. Basically, Chazza, you have the final say. Heung-min Son, is he good for the free hit? Yes or no?
I reckon just go for it. You're all out. Just go for it. Go
Are
smash
you gonna be picking him in your free hit? Would you say?
Look, I'll get back to you.
Yeah, basically, come deadline, we'll find his. We'll find out he's just about done his team.
Well, I do like the choice. I think he scores all right against Newcastle in recent years too. I haven't done the stats on that front because he's not one of my captains. But
yeah.
go for it, man.
What goalkeeper have you gone for?
Yeah,
there?
I feel like you've got your money. You spent your money like Johnson.
Yeah, so, like,
4.4. Why
get
you downgrading
rid
him
of-
to get 4 mil or 3.9?
Yeah, like change your goalkeeper and get yourself an instant like 0.8 mil.
Free money.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know Leno's
go-
carrying an injury or Johnston.
No, just go all the way down to the cheapest
So you
goalkeeper.
just
Yeah.
basically go for.
Tom Heaton.
Yeah, you only have to play one, mate.
3.
I was going to go for Ward then, just in case as a backup. There we go. Oh, is it Everson? Which one is it?
Yeah,
Everson.
Everson.
3.8 mil done.
Everson.
How much cash have you got now?
5.7.
5.7. Oh, you cashed up big time, mate.
Downgrade.
You've got so much money.
Now downgrade the defender to like
Don't
a
need Moreno.
3.8 mil or whatever.
Don't need a Moreno, so we'll go for another cheap
Ben.
one.
Ben White. Oh, no, you've already got 3 Arsenal, haven't you? Perisic.
No, we'll go for.
Shut up with the Perisic shouts.
Hey, I feel like
You used
that's
to have a
proper
thing,
rumble,
Jess.
Jess. That's so,
Mate,
that's so
honestly, I was
rumble,
so mad. I can't describe
so
how
mad.
mad I was.
Yeah. Could we just go back to that time when you picked me up from Merseyside Station? No, sorry, Liverpool, and all you
And you had no
just
bags left.
talked about was Perisic's blank 1 point against Aston Villa in a 2-0 home loss.
Mate, I can't believe, like, the thing is, when I pick him in a perfectly reasonable fixture, like, he blanks, right? But when Jack gets pissed and brings him on for a -8, he goes and gets an assist. I'm like, this is the level of skill that's evident in our league, mate.
Yeah, but I played better after a pint.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Nico Williams because I'm going to bench him anyway. So
Well, yeah,
3
exactly.
So
Yeah,
6.
you're like picking us. I feel like your free hit was a squad and not a team.
Yeah. Like
I just did it. I just did it when it was like.
I
you
feel like
feel
you're building a squad ready for your Premier League running.
Yeah, I mean, can you go without Saka this week? Does he get dropped again?
So
Benched?
change either Solanke or like.
Well, this is what you do. You do this.
Yeah, go
go
Solanke to
4.5 mil.
Greenwood. He's 4 mil.
And then play a 3-5-2.
You got 7.9.
7.9. Who'd you bring in? Well, you just do
Watkins.
But Watkins, yeah,
Watkins,
perfect.
easy peasy.
So Greenwood.
Get that, lad.
That for me is the way to go. You play a 3-5-2.
Should we do it now?
Let us know in the comments what you think of this free hit team. If you're thinking of something similar.
All out.
Yeah, Ryan said Everson for the goalkeeper. He said Nico Bueno.
Now,
good.
The second thing that you could do is if you're not dead set on Gakpo, you could change Gakpo to like a super cheap option and then go Greenwood to Jota potentially. I'd be more keen on Jota because he's the man in form. But
downgrade Trippier maybe.
Yeah, totally.
Don't fancy any Bournemouth assets.
No, well that's the thing, Bournemouth have been decent.
Bournemouth against West Ham.
Yeah,
just come off a massive win at Tottenham. Do the same against West Ham.
Yeah, so that's an option, but it's food for thought, boys, and I appreciate your input. Son is sat in the middle of the team, and he either basically gets 2 points, or he gets 2 points or no points.
Yeah, he's playing in a similar position, as I say, to Watkins, who absolutely put Newcastle to the sword last week. So
like it. Well,
a real shout.
Listen, boys, we'll have to just jump up a little bit here. I'm just going to bring up my team. Mine's a shocker for this game week. I've got 11 guys on the pitch. Not that many are going to be contributing, but I managed to field a full team. Martinez in goal. I think he's my transfer this week. Back 5. Managed to get out. Trips, White, Perisic, and Botman. Neco Williams. Midfield 3 of Solomon, Saka, and Martinelli, and Kane and Isaac up top. Not major hopes this week, but at least there's a participation award happening.
It'll be one of them where Isaac scores and you'll be like, yeah, I've lost my clean sheet points. And then Kane scores and you'll be like, yeah, I've lost my clean sheet points. There's a 1-1 incoming and it's all your fault, Jack.
That is an awful team, isn't it? Oh, God.
How funny, though.
I don't want anyone to do anything.
How funny if I managed to beat your free hit team with this team somehow.
It's actually going to happen, isn't
it? You've got no Liverpool players, you goosed.
Don't need them.
You goosed.
Don't need them.
You've got, oh God, yeah. You've
got 11 players on the pitch.
The thing is, like, Everton actually need Liverpool to win against Forest because they're another relegation candidate. And I bet you, because that's the way it's written in the stars, that Forest are going to come out and smash Liverpool now. Just so Everton can get relegated.
At Anfield, it'll be a different story, I think.
Nice little point from Ryan at Football Chat Box jumping in. West Ham have got Europe this week as well. Could go 120 minutes. So playing against Bournemouth. Could be leggy. But yeah, captains for this week, lads.
Mo.
Chazza, when you decide to do your free hit. Your hair looks nice like that, mate.
Yeah, look,
back inside.
Well, I reckon it's great in recent times. I'd love to hear people's thoughts on this.
Wow.
I think it'd be
like horse hair.
Yeah, I am a horse. Well,
You're a horse.
Horse.
I think Mo, after before if I had this team that I currently have that hasn't been changed, I think Kane.
Kane.
What?
Yeah.
Harry Kane gets Newcastle away.
I wasn't expecting that one. Oof.
Well, he could get 4 assists. You never know.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, mate.
Right.
So, yeah, go on. So we're going Salah, and you say Kane. You're going to captain Kane, Chazza, or no?
Okay, so this is if I don't play my free hit chip, it's Kane. If I play my free hit, it's a full Egyptian house. Da. There you go.
Yeah.
Can I tell you why it's on modes? Because I'm the absolute governor.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I'm going to go Martinelli.
I like that.
Spicy. I like that shout. I think that's a great shout.
It could save my game week.
Could ruin it as well.
Could also ruin it. Colm, as just mentioned, he's backed that one up. Back Chazza. Kane does well against Newcastle. But is it the same Newcastle? Is it?
Well, I mean,
They've been in and out of form, so
Side
you just
wearing
don't know.
black and white, so of course it's the same Newcastle. No, I'm only joking. Completely different. It's going to be tough to break down.
Brilliant. Fair. Anything else to add, lads, before we end the pod? I think we've discussed quite a bit. I feel like there's been a lot of Liverpool content on this podcast tonight.
A lot of Merseyside talk this evening.
All right. Yeah, of course.
And on that note, thank you for joining us on the FPL Addicts podcast for game week 32. Been a cracker. It's actually nice to have a full squad, near enough, 4 out of the 6. We've definitely increased the average. Don't know about increasing our FPL rankings though. But yeah, listen, good luck everybody for game week 32. Been an absolute joy to have the boys on the pod. Thanks, Reedy. Thanks, Rev. And thank you, Chazza, for jumping in.
Yes,
Thanks for everyone who's been.
No, you are.
Thank everyone for joining in the stream tonight. Please do give this video a like, jump in the comments for next time, and hit the subscribe so you don't miss an upload. And we'll see you for game week 33.